When I lived in Florida, there was a revert brother. He was from Trinidad. He was a revert. He had a lot of dreams. He was a decent individual. He started having dreams, and he started to claim that he was the Mahdi. The Mahdi. And because you have some basic knowledge of Al-Islam, you know that the Mahdi is not coming from Trinidad. You know that for a fact. I don't care how much he jumps up and down and screams, I'm the Mahdi, I'm the Mahdi. The Mahdi is not coming from Trinidad. And then when he started finding out things about the Mahdi, like the Mahdi is from the Itra of Fatima. He comes from the descendants of Fatima. He went to Egypt in some alleyway, some back street, and he got the shajara of the Ahlul Bayt made, and he got his name put in there. That doesn't change the reality of you're not the Mahdi because you come from Trinidad. And your name is not, he had a name, another name. Salman was his name. He found out the Mahdi's name was Muhammad ibn Abdullah. He changed his name. So right away we say, you're not the Mahdi, son. You can't be the Mahdi. Same thing with the Dajjal. The Nabi said about where Dajjal is coming from, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, inna Dajjal yakhruju fi ard bil mashriq. يقال لها خراسان إنه خارج خلة بين الشام والعراق. He said that Ad-Dajjal is going to come out from a place that is east of Al-Medina, of the Arabian Peninsula. It's east of Al-Medina. Not east of Toronto, not east of Timbuktu, not east of Russia, east of where the Prophet spoke these words, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That was in the Khalij, the Arabian Peninsula. And that place is called Khurasan, well-known city, Khurasan. And then another hadith said, when he comes out, he's going to be between Al-Sham and Al-Iraq. So these are two different hadith. Ikhwani, many of the hadith of the Mahdi and the Dajjal are a hadith and athar mushkala. They're problematic because some of them seem to be contradictory. And we know, as Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, that if the Quran was from other than Allah, you would have found in it a lot of ikhtilaf. You would find in it a lot of ikhtilaf. وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجَدُوا فِي اخْتِلَافٍ كَثِيرًا. If the Nabi's hadith were not from Allah Azza wa Jal, there would be a lot of ikhtilaf. He says this over here, then opposite over there. So one hadith said that the Mahdi is going to come out from a place called Khurasan. And another hadith said, when he comes out, he's going to be between Al-Sham and Al-Iraq. Khurasan is not between Sham and Al-Iraq. Khurasan is somewhere else. And both of those hadith are authentic in the Sahihain. So how do we harmonize the two hadith? How did the scholars of Al-Islam harmonize those two hadith? They harmonized the two hadith by making a plausible explanation that can be understood. It's a possibility, and Allah knows best. They said that when the Nabi said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he'll come out from Khurasan, then that's where he'll start from. That's where he'll start his journey from. That's where he'll be at, and that's where he'll leave. They said, but the other hadith, that he'll be between Al-Sham and Al-Iraq, Al-Sham being Bayt al-Maqdis, Jerusalem, Palestine, Syria, that area over there. Al-Sham is that area. The other hadith said he's going to be between Al-Iraq and Al-Sham. The scholar said in that area, that's the place where his situation is going to become well known. That's where the drama and the fitna and the static is going to start. As for his initial coming out, then it's going to be, as the Nabi said, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wasallam, in Khurasan. When he comes out, he's going to have some followers. Who are the followers of the Dajjal? The followers of the Dajjal at the top of the list are the Yahud. The Yahud. In the UK, I don't know how it is here in Toronto, but in the UK, we have to, as du'at, be very careful about how we express things in our religion now. Because if you say certain things about certain groups of people who are mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah, in the UK right now, you can get in trouble as being a preacher of hate, as being a person who is calling to disunity, and instead of calling to community cohesion, you're trying to be divisive. So now if a person says that the Jews are descendants, some of them are swines and monkey, you can get in trouble with that, although that's in the Quran. And the reason why it's like that is because the Muslims were too rough and too tough and giving dawah about other issues. So the da'i today, he has to have hikmah, and he has to know how to put these things across. And he also can't apologize. The deen is the deen. If you would ask a Yahud, will the Muslims go to the Jannah? They're going to say, no, the Muslims are in the hellfire forever because they're not Jews. Christians are going to say Muslims in the hellfire forever because they didn't take Jesus as the Lord and Savior. And the Muslims going to go, if he asks, are the Christians and Jews in the hellfire? We say, no, they are our brothers because we don't want to step on the toes of the people. We say, no, those people are from the hellfire because that's our religion. But in putting points across, we have to be sensitive. We have to be easy. We have to be careful. So the followers of the Antichrist, the followers of the Dajjal, according to the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, will be the Yahud. He says sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and what was collected by Imam Muslim on the authority of Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu wa ardahu. يتبع الدجال من يهود أصبهان 70,000 عليهم الطيالسة. There will be 70,000 Jews from the country of Asbahan, which is by Iraq. 70,000 of them will follow the Dajjal when he comes out, and they'll have the clothes of the Persians. They'll be wearing the clothes of the Persians. Some of the scholars said that. At-Tayalasa means they'll have hoods. Others said this is particular clothing of the people of that particular part of the world. So that hadith is authentic Sahih Muslim. Also, those who will follow the Dajjal that come to us in the hadith are the munafiqun and the munafiqat. Those people who disbelieve, who are going to leave out of Medina. A Dajjal is going to come and he's going to try to get into Al-Medina, but he won't be able to get in. He doesn't have the passport to get into Al-Medina. So when he gets into Al-Medina, he's going to camp out on the outskirts of Al-Medina. And the Malaika won't allow him to come in. So he'll camp on the outskirts of Al-Medina because there's a benefit in him encamping outside of Medina. When he gets there, Medina is going to shake 3 times with 3 earthquakes. And for those who don't know, Medina already is a result of an earthquake. So if you ever go to Al-Medina and you look at Uhud and you look at some of the other mountains on the outskirts of Medina, they are the residuals of lava that happened a long, long time ago. And the Nabi mentioned that, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So there's going to be 3 earthquakes in Al-Medina when a Dajjal is encamping on the outskirts of Al-Medina. After the 3rd earthquake happens, all of the hypocrites who were inside of Medina are going to leave, from the men and the women who are hypocrites. And they're going to join up with the army of a Dajjal who's going to set off in the earth in order to make fitna and fasad, and in order to spread kufr and shirk, and in order to take the people off of the deen. So we should understand some critical points about this. Number one, the person who follows the Dajjal is a kafir. No Muslim is going to follow the Dajjal. If you follow the Dajjal, you go outside of the fold of Al-Islam. You go outside of the fold of Al-Islam. You're either a Jew, you're a munafiq, or you're a munafiqah, and that's because he's calling to a shirk al-akbar, the major shirk that takes a person outside of Al-Islam. So don't let it be in anybody's mind that a Muslim can follow the Dajjal. Following him is a sin that expels a person outside of the deen, expels him. Because it's something that's known with the deen with durura. It should be known with necessity. That if a man claims that he is a Nabi after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then he goes outside of Islam. If he claims that, and if it's believed, because it's takdeeb of the Quran and the Sunnah, then what do you think is the case of an individual who claims that he is Allah Azza wa Jal and he deserves to be worshipped? So anyone who follows him, he is outside of the realm of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is connected, ikhwani, to what we mentioned yesterday, but we'll come back to it concerning al-bara' min al-shirk wa min ahli al-shirk. The religious responsibility that we have to disassociate ourselves from shirk and the people of shirk. to not make yourself a part of people of shirk and the mushrikeen. Not meaning you can't live in the same building with them. Doesn't mean that you can't live in the same city or country. Doesn't mean that. It means when it comes to what they believe, they're going out to the Dajjal because of what he's claiming, and they're going to believe in that. Because of that, you can't be with that group of people. You can't be with that group of people. One of the signs with the Mahdi is similar to that. When the Mahdi comes, there's going to be an army that's going to go to destroy him. And when that army arrives between Mecca and then Medina, Allah Azza wa Jalla is going to cause the earth to open up and it's going to swallow the army up. Aisha, when she heard that story, she said, Ya Rasulullah. When she heard that hadith, she said, Ya Rasulullah, why and how is the earth going to swallow all of the people up when with the army are people just selling and trading with the army? Bedouins, they don't believe, their goal and the objective is not to go and destroy the Mahdi. They found the army there, so they went to sell the army milk. They went to sell the army clothes, tents. They went to make money off of the army. And their goal and objective is not to do anything to the Mahdi. The Nabi said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah is going to destroy all of them, the army as well as the people who were with them, and then Allah will raise everybody up based upon his niyyah. So those people who just went to the army to sell milk or this or that, they won't be raised up with the niyyah of trying to harm the Mahdi and to do evil and fasad. They'll be raised up based upon their niyyah. But they're going to have to suffer the consequences of being with the people of shirk and with the mushrikeen. So all of it is an indication, ikhwani, of al-bara from a shirk and from the people of a shirk. Some of the signs of the Mahdi's coming out, وَكَثِيرُ مَا هِيَ, many signs of the Mahdi, some of the more important ones, and there are quite a few, is that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentioned to us that there are going to be some futuhat where the Muslims are going to go at war. They're going to go to war with some of the major empires of the time, and they're going to defeat all of them, one after another, until finally they meet up with the Mahdi, and they're going to deal with him and his army, and at the head of their army will be Isa ibn Maryam. But that's one of the signs. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, Imran Baytul Maqdis Kharab Yathrib wa Kharab Yathrib Kharuj al-Malhama wa Kharuj al-Malhama Fathul Qistantiniya wa Fathul Qistantiniya Kharuj al-Dajjal. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that the people are going to move to Jerusalem. The Muslims are going to make hijrah from all over the world to Jerusalem. They're going to leave Mecca, they're going to go to Jerusalem, they're going to go to Medina and go to Jerusalem. Those who leave Medina, the Nabi said, وَالْمَدِينَةُ خَيْرٌ لَهُمْ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ. Medina was better for them to stay if they only knew. He didn't say that about Mecca. He said the people who leave Medina to go to Bayt al-Maqdis, Jerusalem, he said if they stayed in Medina, it was better for them. He didn't say if they stayed in Mecca. So the Muslims are going to migrate from all over the world and they're going to go to Palestine. And when they go to Palestine, Medina is going to be destroyed. Medina is going to suffer because people are going to leave it. And then when Medina is destroyed, then the Malhama is going to come. There's going to be a lot of fighting and a lot of killing. And then when that fighting and the killing takes place, the place of Constantinia is going to be conquered. It's going to be conquered. And after that place is conquered, then the Dajjal is going to come out. A hadith, the Nabi says, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the Muslims are going to fight in the Jazirat al-Arab, in the Khalij, and they're going to defeat their enemy. And then they're going to go and fight the Persians, and then they're going to defeat them after that. And then after the Persians, they're going to fight the Romans, and then they're going to win after that. And then after fighting the Romans, they're going to meet up with the Dajjal. And after meeting up with the Dajjal, they're going to defeat the Dajjal. So there are going to be a number of military campaigns when he comes out or right before he comes out with the major empires. From the signs of the Dajjal is what was collected by Imam Muslim. The Nabi told the people on the authority of the lady companion Shuraik radiyallahu anha, and she's a tremendous narrator in the hadith. She said that she heard the Nabi say, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لَيَفِرَنَّ النَّاسِ من الدجال في الجبال. قالت شريك يا رسول الله فأين العرب يومئذ؟ قال صلى الله عليه وسلم هم قليل. The people are going to run away and they're going to escape from the Dajjal. They're going to run away from him. And they're going to go up into the mountains. She said, Ya Rasulullah, where are the Arabs? Where will the Arabs be on that day? He said, the Arabs on that day are going to be few in numbers. The Arabs in that day are going to be few in numbers. Sometimes when the Nabi mentioned the Arabs, he means all of the Muslims in the hadith. But in this particular hadith, he means the Arab, the Jins al-Arab, the Arabs of this ummah. They're already the minority. The Arabs are not the majority of this ummah. Non-Arabs are the majority of the Muslims and al-Islam, and is from the proofs that show the alamiyah of al-Islam, the way Islam is a religion that is universal, because the religion started with the Arabs, but non-Arabs overwhelmed them and overtook them. So one of the signs that's going to be coupled with the khuruj of the Dajjal is the qillatul Arab. The Arab are going to be in a small minority. In addition to that, we alluded to this yesterday, the drought and the famine and the sicknesses that are going to take place right before the Dajjal comes out. And all of these, ikhwani, if a person knew about them, he has the ability. It doesn't seem right now that the Dajjal is coming out. Doesn't seem that right now. Where was the fight with Persia? Where was the fight with Rome? Where was the fight with Constantinople? The Arabs right now are a lot of people, relatively speaking. Doesn't seem like he's going to come out right now. For the most part, these ayat are not zahira bariza for the most part. But when we see them, they're going to be clear. From those signs is that the Nabi said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 3 years before the Dajjal comes, 3 years, there's going to be severe drought, and it's going to get more severe year after year after year. 3 years before he comes, Allah is going to tell a third of the rain and a third of the vegetation and the crops and a third of the animals to stop. And then 2 years after the second year, Allah is going to hold back 2/3 of the rain, and he's going to hold back 2/3 of the crop. The earth will not produce 2/3 of its yield, and the animals are going to die.